Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Nip and a Half podcast on this Thursday evening. Just saying to Paul before it went live, it feels like a bit of a mental week when you're doing all three formats or four formats or however many formats we're doing. It's crazy because there's just so much to think about in there with, especially this week with the FA Cup on the weekend with DreamTeam and Telegraph, midweek fixtures, matches going on tonight now. We've got to watch out for the lineups and make changes and bit of a crazy week.
And on Telegraph, it was more action this week, right? Because you're in the FA Cup and you're looking at lineups, whereas you might not normally do that on TFF because, you don't plan. There's not unexpected lineups as much as there is on FA Cup weekend as well.
Exactly that. Alarms going off everywhere at different junctures just to make sure that we get the latest and greatest. I'm actually playing Sleeper this week as well, like a Sleeper draft league, just as part of the hub, and really enjoying it. And tonight, for example, I've got Hoyland, I've got Xerxes, so I'm waiting up for that one just to make sure I get the right forward and all this kind of stuff. So yeah, there's lots going on. Anyway, should we start on Telegraph? Since you mentioned that, obviously FA Cup weekend, it was probably pretty underwhelming, I think, from a TFF view, as we probably expected. How was your TFF weekend and week so far, I suppose?
Yeah, a little bit underwhelming. I'm up to 350th overall though, so
not that underwhelming then.
That's what, yeah.
Maybe underwhelming for me.
It was a weird one because we talked about strategy and I talked about the rotating single position. Like, I go back and I back your strategy if you've got players that play largely in the league and play for good teams in the league, and then they appear in the cup and you don't have them, then that makes perfect sense to move on to those guys. Because I think from the big teams, it's unlikely that there's players that I was going to want longer term. I was doing that one spot rotating strategy, so I did 3 or 4 moves. I've seen that deployed on some people on Twitter really, really well though. Like moved on to Doku, moved on to João Felix. And I've seen change like that. Yeah. Unfortunately, mine's read Nunes to Gay to some other mug. So, but that being said, I had a really good week, and it was the peripheral players that I've had. And I'm the one good thing is that I've not completely messed up my team do that. Yeah. I used 3 transfers over the weekend, and I've still got my team reads Sells and goals, Gabriel, Hall, Kerkez, Gomez, Palmer, Foden, Eze, Mbuemo, Isak, Salah now. So it's not like, that's a fairly optimal team, and I've put myself in 350th overall from there. So really good week. I had Clivert at the weekend, and then he came off the bench against Chelsea and scored as well. So I've got 17 points I've got from Clivert.
17 from benched player. Yeah, you call me Midas. That is ridiculous. Yeah. Mind you, having a penalty take, it always helps, doesn't it?
And then I guess my other large differential is Foden, who at his price point and based on his history is still relatively low owned, and he's done well for me. So yeah, I'm pretty happy. I've still got a transfer count in the 20s. Still got a transfer count in the 20s as well. So pretty happy. I might even make a move tonight. I might bring in Bruno.
I'm thinking of Bruno this evening as well. We'll talk. Yeah, let's talk about that now. I made 3 transfers last night. I haven't had any Newcastle players because I've just been trying to wait for the most optimal time. Last night I can't complain. 29 points off the 3 Newcastle players in Isak, Gordon, and Hall. I took out Haaland and Mbuemo and Gomez. I'm currently on a 5-3-2 actually. I've got Leno, but I wanted to get rid of that third. I've been hamstrung by the third striker spot, so I'm quite happy actually to get out of that. So I'm on a 5-3-2 at the moment. I've got Leno, who's been disappointing. He kept a couple of clean sheets, but overall a bit disappointing. I'm looking to move him on, I think. Munoz, Gabriel, Murillo, Robinson, and Hall. I'm happy with Hall, Robinson, Murillo, and Munoz especially. Might do Gabriel too. I don't know, Bruno tonight. I probably won't. I don't know. Palmer, Eze, Gordon, Salah and Isak. So I jumped from 9k to just inside the top 6k, which is obviously nowhere near you, but definitely I jumped in the Ultimate League, which is kind of what I gauge my progress on, from 40th to 33rd in one night, which is quite nice. I haven't got anyone playing tonight, so that's probably why I'm tempted to try and bring in Bruno. Gabriel to Bruno, it's a two for two, but it's the quality of fixtures. I think is the thing for me. So Bruno would be home to Southampton, home to Brighton, which is pretty decent. Gabriel's home to Villa and away to Wolves. So I'm trying to think what I could expect. I don't think they'll keep a clean sheet away to Villa. So I'd expect 2 points there. And Wolves probably would keep a clean sheet. So 7 there. That's 9 points. And then Bruno, I expect him to get some in tonight, and maybe Brighton. I'm not sure it's worth it. After that, United going a 3-for-1 over Arsenal. So I think that is probably a better point. I can't think of anyone else I want to get rid of, really. And I'm also thinking to a Leno to Sells on the weekend, get an extra game out of Leno, go into Sells, just because Forest just looks so good. So that's my rough plans. I got 24 left. That would take me down to 22, but a pretty good team, I think. So yeah, where's your head out into the Bruno?
Well, it's in Buemo that I've got.
Yeah, and he's the one to get rid of.
And for a similar reason, where you're getting the 3-for-1 for Gabriel, it's a similar setup with Buemo, because with Brentford being out the FA Cup,
that's
basically it opens up, right?
I think it's a good move. I think I'd definitely do it if I were you. Would you do it in my position with Gabriel? It's like a 2-for-2.
That's there's nobody else you want rid of, really, right?
Well, no, it would be Munoz, who I want to keep.
They're at home at Villa, by the way, at the weekend. I don't know if you thought they were.
Yeah, really, I still think they'll concede.
Yeah, maybe.
Personally. No, I got Munoz, Murillo, Robinson, and Hall. I don't think any of them are going anywhere. Palmer, Eze, and Gordon, Salah and Isak. So I just like Palace and Newcastle have got really good, shorter term sort of fixtures. Robinson, he's just I know I'm going to want him back. He's just absolutely fantastic. I can get back to Gabriel after. I can daisy chain maybe off Newcastle or off Palace a bit later to get Gabriel back, but I think it's FOMO more than anything. Gabriel to Bruno feels a bit it feels very sideways. It's just if Bruno kicks off.
He's overpriced.
Yeah, but I don't think overpriced matters at all. It
doesn't.
At the moment.
You're right. If you had the best 11 value players in the game, your squad value is going to be 35 million rather than 50
I've got 5 million in the bank. Haaland's not coming back anytime soon. Saka's not coming back for months. I just feel you can go with whoever you want at the moment.
Plus, if you've got an open striker spot, he's basically holds the money that you can move to anybody from him at any position as well.
Exactly. So I can move from anyone to Bruno, but I just can't see who else I'd go off. Would you do it or not, or do you think it's forcing it?
You've got a good transfer account. Out of all the Arsenal defenders, I like Gabriel the most because he obviously offers the additional attacking threat as well as the clean sheets.
He should have had something last night, shouldn't he?
Yeah, I probably wouldn't, but it's close, I think.
That's exactly my mind. Just have a look if anyone's got a 3-for-1. There's not even like a 3-for-1 over any other team United have got.
Man United struggle. I'm talking myself out of this somewhat now. Like Man United struggled against crap teams this year, so it's the big teams that they've stood.
I'm leaving it. I think I've tried to leave it all year. I think this is the kind of transfer in the past I would make, and I'd end up regretting it. And and something like Bruno would get like a bloody red card, and I wouldn't have Gabriel and all this sort of kind of all these things tend to go. Welcome everyone in the chat. We've had a couple of comments on TFF. Viney said, gutted, so close to going Trent to Isak last night, would have been 32nd instead of 84th. And Richie asks, would you get rid of Raya in TFF? Again, I wouldn't this minute, just the way the fixtures fall, but after Wolves, I would. So after Wolves, there are a lot of 3-for-1s, and I think Chelsea have got a 4-for-1 over Arsenal at that point. You could even go for someone like Sanchez maybe for a few games and daisy chain off Sanchez. Any thoughts on that at all, Paul?
The daisy chain using Sanchez is on the assumption that he plays in the FA Cup as well, which I'm not. I just like, even though Forest have been rotating their keeper in cups this year, there's nothing to say if Forest didn't progress that they would start playing it, taking that more serious.
I agree.
Stells and goals as well. For me, Stells is the standout keeper in this game.
Definitely.
In all games, maybe less so Dream Team with the European factor, but
I think after they play Wolves on Saturday the 25th, nearly every team has a 3-for-1 over them again. So I think that would be the time. I just wouldn't do it yet. It's the same as the Gabriel thing. It's asking for trouble, really, because even though Arsenal aren't performing really well, they're still capable. It's that home to Villa, they may keep a clean sheet. I don't think they will, but they may. Away to Wolves, you think they probably would, and he's also got that attacking threat. Sorry, Raya we're talking about now, but I still wouldn't. In that time, Forest played twice. It's 2-for-2. I just leave it personally. Good stuff on Telegraph. Nice to see a rise in that. I say I went from 40th or 1st to 33rd. I'll probably drop tonight if there's Bruno holders and stuff, but nice to make a bit of progress and feel like I've kind of on the front foot instead of hiding behind the sofa all the time. How was your FPL week this week?
Pretty average. I captained Palmer, which I'm fine with from the Salah, Palmer, Isak type rotation. It was the middle ground, so I'm okay with that. I've got Gordon. I've held Gordon for a little bit now. It saw me climbing rank quite a bit. But now his ownership's that high that's probably curtailing. I benched Wood, so not the best, but I do have João Pedro playing tonight, and it would have been Pedro that I benched for him.
Yep.
I've got Martinelli, and he's definitely coming out at the weekend. I've got 2 transfers, so I've looked at Palace's fixtures. Palace's fixture run is incredible, right? They must be top of the hub ticker. If not like the second or third, but it just looks like a sea of green. So I think I'm just going to put an Eze for Martinelli at the weekend and then just sit with what I've got. You'd spoke about Arsenal's defence there, and we'll talk about Dream Team in a minute, because your point of reference on Arsenal in Dream Team was when you made it. I've got double Arsenal defence. They are second with the bookies to keep clean sheet, highest odds this weekend. So so even though your Robinsons and your Munozes and your Halls are doing incredibly well in FPL just now, I'm pretty set on sticking with the double Arsenal just now and sort out later if I need to.
I got 74. I've had a good week. Got João Pedro playing this evening. I thought the deadline was 6:30 on Tuesday, and I was rushing around doing stuff. And I missed the deadline to actually... I'd made my transfers. I brought in Gordon and Hall, which is obviously really, really nice. But I was going to play Robinson over João Pedro. So Robinson got 7 points. João Pedro to play. So the only thing I didn't want this evening was a João Pedro benching. So the fact he's either start or don't play, I get Robinson 7 or I don't. So the fact he's starting, I can't sort of argue with that. So looking hopefully for another good week. Bit scared of Bruno owners. Have you got Bruno? You haven't, have you? A bit scared of Bruno owners this evening. I feel he could do well. Apparently all teams' talisman tend to do well against Southampton, all the key sort of players. So, but having João Pedro is nice. I would take a little goal and assist 12-pointer off João Pedro this evening before he gets brought off in the 72nd minute, which I think is going to roughly happen. But nice green up to 375k at the moment. So if João Pedro can keep tabs with Bruno, hope to stay in the top 400k. Nice green, nicely set up for the coming weeks. Looking okay. I've got Wood ahead of this weekend as well, which I'm sure you're excited about as well. Home to Southampton as well. Looking good. Who are you captain FPL this week? I think it's a close one. It's a tough one.
Who have I got on just now? Salah. I'm going to captain Salah.
Captain Salah away to Brentford. Is that right? Yeah. They've
been a lot tighter at home than what they had been recently, but I even look at that game, like Salah's performance against Forest was typical, in my opinion, of his performances this season, in that he done nothing for 70 minutes, but could have walked away with like a 20 with all the chances that happened at the end. I'm pretty cool with the outcome. It's a similar split though, right? Salah, Palmer, Isak. I wouldn't talk anybody out of going for any of those. But yeah, I'm gonna go for Salah. I think
I'm going Palmer. They scored 6 against him in the first half of the season. I think Wolves just been all over the place, and just extra points for a forward over Isak, for example. Appreciate Salah is as good as pick, but as you say, it's throw a blanket over all of them, really. You could even stick Wood in there as well, potentially. Southampton, if United go and demolish Southampton this evening, Southampton are all over the place. You just never know. Or they get a couple of injuries at the back, for example. Wood could be a good option, but at the moment I'm on Palmer. I also like the Monday night thing, where you could potentially get that boost at the end of the week as well. But yeah, interesting stuff. And Dream Team, I mean, what a week, Dream Team. I was...
you and I were crazy. You and I were messaging each other fuming on Saturday.
We both took Trent out in Dream Team,
and I'm still we've talked a lot about this season, and I always think to myself, on retrospect, reflection, what could I have done better in certain situations, and have I made a bad call, and what can I learn from it?
Yeah.
So I talked about the Saka thing, talked about bringing in Trent the week that I should have brought him in about a month ago or 6 weeks ago, and deemed that as a mistake. I don't think taking Trent out at the weekend there was a mistake in hindsight. I'm not even convinced that he was due to play that game, but Slot had said something like, although Conor Bradley did come on as a sub, he had like a niggle or something like that. And he got taken off on 59 minutes and 50 seconds or something like that. I know that that's the Dream Team rules, that the 59 rolls up to 60, so I'm not questioning Dream Team admin or anything like that. But if you factor in all of those things, I still maintain that I think I made the right choice based... I brought in Munoz for him, who got more points than Trent did. Got the same points as Trent did this week.
Just quickly before we move on, we've got the Man United team sheet. Onana, Mazraoui, De Ligt, Martinez, Yoro, Ahmad, Garnacho, Bruno, Ugarte, Mainu, Højlund. Probably that's a strong team. Looks like Bruno might be playing in the 10 role. I mean, more tempted to bring him in now.
Yeah. No Maguire.
No Maguire.
That scupper's one of the things that I was considering doing in Dream Team this week.
Really?
So, okay. No, he's 2.2 million. So I was considering him, bringing him in as one of the options.
I reckon it's a breather. He has been playing every game. He's played a lot, haven't he? So yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be an interesting. I need to think and Telegraph. I need to
that Dubravka move from you was, and then the retention of him when you considered both not bringing him in and then considering taking him out. It's just worked out gloriously.
Unbelievable. So I was so tied between taking because Dubravka apparently waved goodbye to the fans. He's basically on the plane, packed off to Saudi Arabia.
Dubravka's cooked.
I was like, what? And then I read it. I was like, oh, geez. So I was hoping to have him for another week. And then I was really stuck between taking out Porro. I didn't think that Porro would start, taking out Trent, and all sorts of different things. So I ended up taking out Trent for Gabriel because I did want some Arsenal defensive coverage. I also had Van Dijk. And obviously, just as it happened, Trent not only he started, he was a Liverpool captain, got the clean sheet, got the bloody goal, and got everything. But Gabriel got 10 points, so it wasn't the end of the world. But Dubravka got me 12. So when I saw him starting against Brom, even though they conceded, at least he got the game in clean sheet last night. So having the 12 points of him, I was absolutely over the moon with. Got Gordon, got Foden, got Palmer, captain Bruno. So yeah, overall, I fell from 35th to 90th after that Trent performance, because obviously a lot of people had max cap on him, so they had 34 points off the bat, and I was absolutely fuming and resigned to not a mediocre season, but not that I've got designs on winning the game, but just being there or thereabouts is exciting, right?
The falls are bigger at the top than the climbs are on the way up there.
Crazy,
for sure.
Crazy. So, but as it actually stands, with Dubravka, Gabriel's 10, Porro's 10, Palmer, and whatever else, I'm up to 31st with Bruno captain this evening. And I've had a quick look, and in the top, between myself and 15th, there's not many people even own Bruno, never mind got him as captain, because a lot of them have played their max captain already and got him on Trent or Gordon or Isak.
Yeah, so you're only eating into it, assuming that he doesn't outperform Foden.
Exactly that. So either way, because even if he outperforms them, it takes the points off the max cap off Trent from 40 down to 20, whatever it is. So Bruno performance tonight could end up around, top 20 or 25, which would be, since I took out Trent and I dropped to 90th, would be a hell of a finish to the week. So yeah, exciting. And I've had a quick look for this week. So obviously Newcastle go back to single game weeks, home to Bournemouth, which is an okay fixture. They've then got Southampton, I think, the week after. But I've got Dubravka, who I think is a problem, but it wasn't a problem I was willing to fix last week. I've also got Gordon. So what I can afford to do Gordon to Trent to go 4-3-3. And I can then afford to do Dubravka to Onana. But after Bayendia's performance last week, I'm not entirely convinced that Bayendia maybe won't get a game or two in Europe.
Yeah, so I think the same. I've got Onana and I think the same, but
so I'm not sure. But that would put me 4-4-2. It gives me I like the 4-4-2. It gives me the 4-3-3. It gives me a lot of flexibility either way. I've probably got the four best defenders there in Porro, Van Dijk, Trent, and Gabriel.
Like you possibly did by your comment there. Porro's got more points than Gabriel this season, and think how many goals Gabriel scored.
Porro's a beast. I would only, and the only reason I kept hold of him, is because Jed Spence got suspended. It just so happened that after Jed Spence got suspended, and Porro had the one more game, Udogie got injured for 6 weeks. So I've had him all the way through. I mean, Porro he's an animal. He is such a brilliant asset to own, and even though Spurs don't keep clean sheets, it doesn't matter. He's just an animal. So I love holding him, and and he's also got the odd 15, 18 pointer in him as well, which he's shown a couple of times this season. So I know we do my thinking on a Friday morning. Like I get all the planners out and do a real lot of thinking, but I think I'm going to keep Isak. But I think Gordon is potentially expendable just because of the single game week. I've already got Foden. If I haven't got Foden, I'd be bringing Foden in, like Gordon to Foden. I'm going to keep Palmer home to Wolves this week. 14-pointer due a rise. It's just so yeah. I just don't know. They're incredibly loose thoughts, but see how this evening goes. What's your thoughts on all that and on who to bring in?
You can chuck me in Arkham Asylum after this. But where my current thinking is after more like bitching and moaning about Man United defenders for however many weeks, I think I'm going to do Munoz and Van Dijk to Trent and Mazraoui.
Right. I don't think it's a bad shout at all.
Yeah, but I didn't think it was a bad shout when I doubled up on Man United defence earlier on.
Yeah, but the things change. I personally think a lot of things depend on this evening. If Southampton go and play well and United is shit and it's 1-1. But if United go out as expected and win 3 or 4-0,
Mazraoui's moved back to fullback rather than playing in the back three, which definitely heightens his appeal both from tackling and potential.
I don't mind that at all. I think that's fine. And you're keeping Onana just on the basis that he hasn't lost his place yet. I don't know if it's just a hype over Bayendia just because obviously he played incredibly well, but I still wonder if Onana gets the games.
I'm not. Yeah, to your point, it's not. I wouldn't necessarily go and buy him, but I'm not going to sell him.
Who would you buy if you had Dubravka in goal now, who's going to rise in price, but has only got a single, may not even play the single if Pope is back, maybe sold?
Well, so if the suggestion was that Pope's not back, I would leave Dubravka.
Definitely for the single, is it home to Bournemouth?
Yeah. Well, look, goalkeepers are the lowest scoring players in the game anyway.
Yeah, but I haven't got anyone else I can use a transfer on either. There's nowhere else I can use. I may as well keep my team optimal.
Okay.
Do you see what I mean? Would you go for Onana then or someone else? I've only got up to 3.4. So I can't go for like Alisson or Raya.
If we went away to Arsenal, I would have suggested going to Martinez because he's going to get a rise as well.
How much is Martinez?
Maybe when see if they keep a clean sheet tonight and you think what Onana's going to get a rise, then maybe I make that move. I don't even know that price changes is that
it's not overly significant. Like Saka has just killed it, haven't he? Really. Have a look. How much is he can't be that much Martinez. 3.5. I can afford him. Yeah. Do you think he plays?
Who do you think's the best keeper in the game right now? Like who? Like the best keeper to own?
I don't think there is one, and this is why I can't get excited because probably Alisson, but then if Liverpool go through, they're not going to have the obviously
if they win this game coming up. Are they not guaranteed top 8?
Yeah, if they beat Lille.
Kelleher might play the last game.
Exactly that. So it'd probably Raya, but then I don't like Arsenal's fixtures, and he's 4.4, and they're not particularly keeping clean sheets either, so I think it's quite expensive. So I just no one really I can just get excited about, which is why Onana, for me, 2 home games next week, including the Rangers game. He makes a lot of saves, even when they concede, he tends to make a lot of saves anyway. I can afford him. He'd probably go up, I guess. If they keep a clean sheet this evening. So, yeah. And so, what do you think on Gordon out to Trent? I know Gordon's obviously going to rise. He's been fantastic, but you've got to go for the doublers, right? You've got to prioritise doublers.
I personally prefer, in your shoes, just doing Van Dijk to Trent.
They got a double. They got a double game week. I can't do that, mate. I can't be keeping.
You just had a double game week and got 2 points.
Oh, they're home to. If they were in Chelsea's shoes and they were home to Wolves, I consider it. But home to Bournemouth is a hard game. I think that's a tough game. I can see that being like a 2-2 or a 2-1.
Exactly. Oh, that's a good.
Yeah, but Liverpool have got Brentford, then home to Lille. Van Dijk's definitely playing in both those games. 100. Yeah.
Is he definitely been home to Lille?
Yeah.
I'm not suggesting.
But he's rested last week. He plays every game, doesn't he? Van Dijk plays every game. He was only rested because they had whoever they had in the FA Cup. I can't remember they had home to wherever they were. But anyway, much to ponder, mate. And interesting.
What about Gabriel? You just said about on.
Oh, I'm leaving him in, mate. He's just too. They've got 2 home games as well. His attacking thing is just insane. So I've always gone for the doubles. I'm keeping Isak and Palmer as singles, which I think is the right thing to do.
Yeah, for me, they've been non-negotiable. I think your non-negotiables are Isak, Haaland, the spot that you're in, not that he's particularly pulling up trees. Salah, Fernandes, Foden, and then Palmer as a single. So yeah, you then look at the defence, and hence where my options were going. If it wasn't Gordon, it would be one of the other defenders. But
who's your captain this week?
Salah.
Yeah.
Well, you can make an argument for Bruno.
I think you make an argument for Bruno as well. Yeah, but
if you want to go two, I think I'm just going to go Salah. I think I'm going to go Salah, and I think that. I think so as well. The risk mitigated action.
I think there's a few thinking of Haaland, but the fact they're both away, I think that home to Lille is, I do expect Salah to do something away to Brentford, get something, but that Lille game at home is nice, isn't it? It's really nice. So I think Salah as well. Bruno, as you say, 2 home games again. See how he does this evening, though. If he gets a couple of goals this evening, it could be everyone onto Bruno. You know how fickle we all are, right? Interesting stuff. Interesting times, mate. How is the ultimate leaderboard looking?
You and I are both in the top 10.
Goodness.
Remember, you were like 31st not long ago.
I was 47th, mate, about 2 months ago.
But knew when you started burning down the TFF position, obviously helps that your FPL's been doing good as well. But I knew soon that your TFF position would definitely burn down when you started using transfers. So I don't think there was ever any concern on that. You're 10th, Dan Sherwood's in 9th, Keane McKenna in 8th, Darren Malloy in 7th, James Ingram in 6th. I'm in 5th now. Tom Gledhill in 4th, Gavin Shirley in 3rd, Aled Wilcox in 2nd, and Johnny Curry is still 1st, 2nd, and 6th overall in the prize positions.
He's flying. Flick on points, mate. I haven't looked. Flick on points, table by points, see what's going on there. I don't know.
You'd be 3rd.
I do know. I do know. Otherwise, I wouldn't have said to flick over.
I was like, oh, mine's actually, my point tally looks all right now. I'd be 6th there. 3rd, woofed.
Johnny Curry is he's got Bruno, but he's on max cap on Trent at the moment.
That's so you want you obviously want Bruno to get as many points as
I do. I don't mind that at all.
I'll just be into that anyway.
And player in 2nd, Aled, doesn't own Bruno, so hoping for a Bruno. That's the thing in there. I really want Bruno. I've got Bruno captain in Dream Team, and I don't own him in either TFF or FPL. So
is he playing the 10? Is he playing the 10?
He's playing in the 10. Against Southampton, mate.
I'm definitely bringing him in Telegraph.
I would for Mbuemo. I think that's an absolute no-brainer. Not sure in my position. Gabriella just doesn't make any sense, and there's no one else I want to lose. This is why we do this pod, right? So everyone can hear these real-time dilemmas. This is how we speak, sort of all the time. This is
the point I used to go and walk the dog when I was when we played Sky.
Just go.
It's like leave the phone in the house and then go out and walk the dog.
And this is the hour now where I'm like, what do I do? What do I do? Going back and forth on the Bruno thing. Really need to give it a bit of thought. Yeah.
We've also jumped up to 2nd in the Dream Team Tag League.
Nice.
Off of us as a collective, I've had pretty good last couple of weeks, so made a lot of progress in there as well.
Superb stuff. Yeah. Thank you, mate. I'm working away next week, Monday to Wednesday. So there's the potential to do next Thursday again. I'll let you know if that's okay. It's a bit it's short notice, but yeah, I'm not going to be around, so I will be in touch. But thank you to everyone who's joined us. Hopefully, you share some of our dilemmas. Let us know in the chat what you're thinking about all these different things. It's crazy time at the moment in fantasy. Just so much football, isn't there? So much football. It's incredible. Never known a January like it. It doesn't stop. Football tonight, football all weekend, football next, midweek, Champions League, Europa, and whatever else. It's just crazy, non-stop until March. I think it's the back end of March is when there's the final international break. So yeah, mental up until then. But thanks for joining us, everyone. Hopefully you enjoyed. Hopefully you can share the dilemmas that we've got as well. I've got a clue what to do. But yeah, we might be back next week if we can squeeze in. If not, we'll definitely be back the week after. But yeah, thanks for joining us, everyone. And see you all soon.